So people, hello. Today on my channel, Tony Kakko. Thank you for your time. Nice to see you here, and thank you that you're on my channel.
So be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. First of all, how are you? How was your day so far? A lot of interviews.
Yeah, a few interviews and some other things to do. You know, family life, enjoying, and something to do with music as well. So it's been a good day.
Okay. I know everyone is tired of this topic, but I have to ask you, tell me how the last 2 years have affected your life in general.
I am really in a fortunate position to say that this has done me a lot of good. This has been really good 2 years because first of all, and most importantly, my children are of that age that it really makes a difference if I am home or not, and they are young. So it's been really good to spend some time with them because I've spent so much time away during these years, and so that's been one thing. And also I've been needing some time off from Sonata Arctica, which I knew I would never ever get unless something like this happened. So, and here we are. I was planning to have like 1 year off and do nothing about Sonata Arctica. And what I have learned is that I need to be really careful for what I wish for, you know, because the whole world will suffer when I get what I want and need.
Yeah, it's crazy times. Yeah, but it's good sides and bad sides. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I have to say that this has done some good. You know, when you get lemons, you make lemonade, they say. But you know, I think everybody has done enough lemonade for a lifetime already. So.
Okay. How the things are in Finland now? Are there still any restrictions, or are the things going slowly back to normal life?
Actually, it's just like in last month or 2 months, the whole situation has gotten worse than it has ever been. We used to have like maybe maximum amount of 1,000 infected per day in some point, and now I think the maximum thing we had was like close to 15,000. Okay. So it has been a huge increase because of this Omicron variant, and it's really sad. But you know, the more people get infected, more immunity we get, I suppose. But unfortunately, that comes with a cost. You know, some people are in hospital, a lot of them, and so it is what it is. But you know, hopefully this year we'll see a big change for better.
Hopefully, it's time. Yeah. Okay, and congratulations on the new album.
Yeah, so
you recorded the songs back in 2020. Now we have 2022. Why it took so long?
Well, you can guess. The albums, they were actually both of them, volume 2 included. They were ready already 2020. And we were supposed to release them 1 year ago already in January, the first one, and alongside with the tour supporting that release. But then this COVID thing forced us to postpone everything, and it didn't make any sense when it comes to touring to just put everything forward like a half a year, because it seemed pretty bad at the time, and you could not be sure that if things will get any better and you see any change there. But 1 year, suddenly things will get better in 1 year, right? So here we are now, and still we are postponing our tours, but we can't anymore postpone the releases of the albums, because eventually one point we want to go in studio and record a real Sonata Arctica album, a real studio album as well, and then you would start to have too much action in the release sector there. You can't have like 3 albums released at the same time, or you can, but it doesn't make much sense. So let's put it, the albums are released now, first one now and the second one I think in October. Okay. Everything 1 year later than supposed to, and hopefully we get to actually tour during the autumn as well.
Yeah, we hope. Can you tell how you recorded the song? It's all live, or did you change anything for the songs in the studio later?
It's a mixture. We played everything live in the studio, but then there are some overdubs. Like if you listen carefully, you can hear more than one Tony singing in some points. So we wanted to have the harmonies and use the studio things to make things sound as good as possible, and that requires some harmonic singing as well. Because the point was never ever to make a live album anyway. We could have done that in a live show if that was the idea, and maybe one day we might be able to do that. Would be fun. But anyway, this was going to be a studio live kind of thing, and electroacoustic maybe is the correct word to use for these songs and the arrangements and everything. So yeah. It was that kind of a process.
Okay, and how did you choose the songs? Did everyone choose their favorites, or?
Yeah, well, obviously, when this is anyway going to be a sort of greatest hits compilation of songs, so you need to have your certain hits that appeal to people and people know by heart anyway already, and that makes it easier. And then it gave us an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper and found songs that are a little bit maybe obscure or even really unfamiliar for people. Like, let's say the first single we cut out from the album, The Rest of the Sun Belongs to Me, which is a bonus track for Japan for Winterheart's Guild album back in 2003. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who have never even heard of that song. And this gave us a chance to revisit the song and make it a little bit different and release it as a single to get maximum attention, because I think it turned out really well, and the song has a nice melodies and everything, and it's a sort of a feel-good thing, and that was the approach with the whole process and project. Really have something that everybody knows, and then surprises here and there, but nothing really completely new. We don't have any brand new material on these albums, but maybe in the future, if we get to release more of these acoustic albums, that would be a great thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you already had an idea before how the songs will sound, or everything happened spontaneously?
Well, the whole thing really got started back in 2019 when we toured this Acoustic Adventure thing in Europe, and our label and everybody got to see the shows, and at that point the songs were pretty much the way they are now on the album already, arrangement wise. Obviously we changed a little bit things here and there, something we noticed on tour that this and that thing doesn't necessarily work and we need to change it a little bit, but like in the core, the tour is like the frame of this release, these both acoustic albums, and it was like 1.5 hours of music, and we just made more basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. And which songs were the most challenging for you to play?
Hard to say, but I know for the guys, the instrumentalists, Wolf and Raven was a pain in the ass to do, really, because it's a song that needs to go really really tight, and acoustic instruments like real actual piano and acoustic guitar, they are, if you are not that accustomed of playing those instruments, they are basically a little bit more difficult to master and get as tight. So that was a lot of work to get those songs working. And to be honest, I think we could have used a little bit more time and arranged that song in some little bit different way. Like maybe take the bits that are not so comfortable to play and do something else with them and change the bits. But you know that in the Wolf and Raven, it's such a trademark thing and everybody knows it. So I don't know, what could you do? Cut the tempo in half or whatever. So I'm not sure if that's even an option there, but you know, something, because we gave ourselves a lot of freedom when it came to the arrangements. Just, you know, we cut everything, all the decorations off the songs, and just took the frame. Took the verse and then pre-chorus and chorus and whatever else usable you could see and hear in the song, and use that as a frame, and then started approaching it acoustically, and oh, this sounds nice. Let's keep that, and then scratch the other idea, and then if we needed to cut out a solo, like the Rest of the Sun Belongs to Me, it has a solo original version that is like really speed power metal unison straight solo with keyboards and guitar. So that wasn't really not an option in that atmospheric song that it is now in acoustic form. So we cut that unison solo out and came up with something totally different, and it works really well. And that was the approach with all the songs here.
Yes, completely.
Make them work as well as possible without any prejudice and restraints, really.
Yeah, it's completely different, but it sounds great. It is also
Thank
great.
you.
I think. Yeah, I like For the Sake of Revenge and Pay It in Full the most. For me, this is highlights of this record. What are your favorites on that?
I think The Rest of the Sun Belongs to Me and For the Sake of Revenge. Those two tracks are, well, they are the first singles as well. First two singles that we are cutting out from these albums. I think those are, for me, highlights, really. But there are other ones, let's say, well, there's a lot of good versions there. Actually, I don't think there's any point start naming any other than those two, really, at this point, because I'll be naming all of them. Yeah. Looking at the list right here, I have the set list here, and it says like, wow, that song has a great part there, and this one has a great part here, and so let's just say those two first tracks.
Will the second part of Acoustic Adventures somehow different from the first part, or will be there any surprises maybe? Or
well, it was a surprise for us that we didn't put actually any songs from Ecliptic, our debut album, on this first volume. That was an accident. We didn't pay any attention, so that's just something that happened, because we aimed to create two acoustic albums that are like balanced in a way, that we could have approached it differently as well, but make one speedy one and one really slow one, but that doesn't make much sense. So we aimed for balance, and for some reason, I don't know why, all the Ecliptica tracks that we recorded ended up on the second one, and so you will have your Full Moons and Letter to Danas there, something else as well. So.
Okay, I read some comments on internet. Why this record released not on Nuclear Blast, but on the Atomic Records? Yeah, why? Can you say something about it?
Already for some years we have been on a sort of sub-label of Nuclear Blast, owned by the original Nuclear Blast owner, Marcus Tiger.
Yeah.
And he had his own tiny corner company there that he only had few, like handful of bands, maybe 5 or something like that. And we were one of them. We wanted to follow Marcus, who had given us a chance and given us so much great things in the past. And we stayed with his label. And now, after some years, he started a new company, and with some other Nuclear Blast friends that we have, and we. For us, from where our perspective, really, we didn't see any other change than the label change, the name change. We are not on Nuclear Blast anymore, and it's really difficult to remember because I still might mention Nuclear Blast when I'm talking to people, but we are on Atomic Fire, which basically, from our perspective, is the same company still, although it's not. But we are working with the same group of people, and that has a value of its own for us. For me, especially, I love these people, and it's wonderful to be able to continue our cooperation and stay in touch with those guys. And so that's the reason. They just formed a new company, and we just naturally moved over to that company.
Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, Tony, last question. What are the plans for the future beside the second part of Acoustic Adventures? Maybe new music, new album tours? Okay, we don't want to talk about it, but maybe something new in this direction, new music.
Well, first of all, I really hope that all the tours that we have planned work out. We are supposed to go in Latin America in April, and then around the corner we have Summer festivals, obviously, and I really hope that we get to play also outside Finland. Let's at least hope that we get to play at least those Finnish dates, because you can't take even those for granted anymore. You never know what's going to happen. And then these are pencil-written years. You can't ink anything down, but because you need to change the dates all the time and move things forward. But the plan is to hit the studio early next year to record Sonata Arctica album number 11. Okay. And that's as far as I have thought of things. So I'm gonna start writing songs really soon for the next one.
That sounds good. Good, Tony. Thank you very much for your time. I wish you all the best for the future, and I hope we see us somewhere, maybe.
Absolutely, face to face, enjoying the music.
And thank you very much for the new album. It sounds great, and
thank you.
We see you. I wish you all the best. Thank you. Cheers.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye.
Ciao.